Welcome back to another episode of Meal Preps, but Vietnamese, where I show you how to make tasty and easy Vietnamese-inspired meal preps to help you get a little bit closer to achieving your health and fitness goals this year. Now for me, that means still enjoying the foods that I know and love while eating at a slight caloric deficit to make losing and maintaining a healthy weight more enjoyable and sustainable. So today, we're adapting a classic Vietnamese dish called Ga Roti, or simply Vietnamese roasted chicken. The chicken is marinated in a blend of 5-spice and soy, and then roasted to perfection in the oven, resulting in a flavorful and juicy chicken that you can enjoy literally every single day of the week. So do me a favor and make sure you like, comment, share, and save this video. Alright y'all, remember to wash your hands. Now for this recipe, I'm using chicken quarters and I have 6 of them. And depending on what your own goals are, you can easily substitute the quarters for skinless chicken thighs or breasts to better fit your own lifestyle. But today, we'll keep it traditional with the quarters. Now we'll marinate the chicken with half a teaspoon of 5-spice powder, a tablespoon of garlic powder, half a tablespoon of onion powder, and a tablespoon each of chicken bouillon, low sodium soy sauce, dark soy sauce for the color, oyster sauce, oil, and honey. Then we'll add in some black pepper and we'll give that a good mix. Now, some other things you can adjust includes the sweetener, and you can substitute that out with monk fruit or your sweetener of choice. And instead of the oil, coconut water could easily replace that as well. The idea behind these recipes is to introduce a foundation, which then you're able to build off of and adjust to your own preferences and palate. Now, once the marinade is evenly distributed, we're gonna need to let this marinate overnight to really allow these flavors to penetrate deep into the chicken. If you're using boneless thighs or breasts, you could probably get away with a shorter marinade time, but for these quarters, it's really essential that you give it the time it needs and deserves. So once that's all mixed up, we're gonna let this vibe out in the fridge. And in the meantime, I'm also gonna make some pickled veggies, and this is just my standard recipe with no adjustments, so the sugar content is quite high, but such is life. And I will say that since we're not drinking any of the pickling liquid itself, I don't think it's actually that bad, but you'll have to decide that for yourself. Anyways, we'll start by peeling our carrots and radish. Once our veg is peeled, we'll cut them into slices and then into matchstick pieces. Alternatively, you can also use a box grater to grate them instead. Then we'll toss our veg with some kosher salt to help draw out some of the moisture and keep them crunchy, and this will only take about 10 to 15 minutes. Then our pickling liquid is equal parts sugar, vinegar, and water. We'll cook that gently on medium-low heat, just enough to let the sugar fully dissolve. Then we'll let the pickling liquid cool down to room temperature before pouring it over the veg. Now once our carrots and daikon are pliable like this, they're good to go, so we'll give them a quick rinse. We'll put our veg into a container, pour over our pickling liquid, and we'll let this vibe out overnight in the fridge too. Now once we have all that done, we'll come back tomorrow and put it all together. Alright y'all, so it's the next day now, and you're just gonna have to trust me when I say that it is. And in my first meal prep video, I used an air fryer to cook the pork, and a lot of you are like, what if we don't have an air fryer? So today we're gonna use the oven. And if you're anything like me and you live in a tiny apartment and don't have nearly enough storage space and you use your oven to store your pots and pans, let's go ahead and remove them and set them aside. Then we'll preheat our oven to 400 degrees Fahrenheit. Now to a wire rack on a baking tray, we're gonna put our marinated chicken quarters skin side down. We're baking this on the center rack for 40 to 45 minutes, and we'll flip it halfway in between. And we'll wanna cook the chicken to a minimum of 165 internal temp for safe consumption, but for me, chicken quarters is perfect at 175 to 180 degrees internal temp. So just make sure that you use a thermometer, and we'll let our chicken quarters cook through. And if you like this recipe and you want to learn how to make more of your favorite Vietnamese and Asian inspired meal preps, make sure you subscribe and turn on your notifications to stay up to date on all my latest posts. While our chicken is in the oven, we're going to quickly process our baby bok choy. Now, I've given it a very thorough rinse, making sure to get rid of all the dirt and sediment in between the leaves, and then I'm just going to cut them in half. We're gonna cook the baby bok choy simply today, and I'm just going to blanch them in some salted water for about a minute. When they're done, I'll drain and rinse with cold water to stop the cooking process, and we'll set that aside. Now once our chicken quarters are cooked through and perfectly golden brown with some slight charring, it's time to put these meal preps together. So into each container, I'm going to add a cup of white jasmine rice, and again, feel free to sub this out for brown rice or whatever grain you want. And then to each container, I'll add in about 4 ounces of our blanched baby bok choy. We'll drop in a roasted chicken quarter in each one. And then the last piece of the puzzle is 2 ounces of our pickled veg. And just like that, you've made 6 Ga Roti meal preps at home. Each individual portion comes out to 575 calories and 30 grams of protein. And as always, the principal recipe and the full macro breakdown is available on my blog at feedthepudge.com. And if you've made it this far, let me know in the comments section, how are your New Year's resolutions going so far? Thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoy.